last year. So it's going to be exciting. I know energy is going to be up, but we're all locked in and prepared, and I think coaches do a great job of preparing us in practice for these moments. So I think everybody that's playing tomorrow will be in good hands.
Because there wasn't a preseason, and for you specifically, how much more comfort do you feel compared to standing here a year ago?
Oh man, a lot. From last year, I remember hearing some of the play calls. I'm like, there's no way that I'll ever be able to get these play calls down. But now, feel really comfortable about hearing the play call, getting it out, and then going up there and executing. So that alone just allows you to play faster. And as we know, when you're allowed to take some of the stress off thinking a lot at quarterback, you perform better. So
it's been a few minutes since you've seen live bullets. Are you anxious? Are you nervous?
No, man, I'm ready for real. A big part of my game is my legs, so I get a chance to kind of do both and showcase what I got, speed wise, and I'm ready. Being a football player and not playing football, really in the whole year, kind of gets you anxious to get back out there. So I'm excited. I know the guys out here are excited, and we're ready to go.
Will we see some of the same parts of the playbook with you as maybe we did with John Walker?
Great thing about John, and me, and really, a lot of the play calls are still the same. Some variations of it, will change, but definitely, a chance for us to get out there and kind of, show our legs a little bit.
Okay. When you were in different staff.
It's just a new perspective. Jared brought one perspective in last year. Then Matthew brings another one, being in there for, I think this is his 13th, 14th year. He's great to work with, and he definitely, shows he cares. When the young guys are in, he comes in and tells us and coaches us, and he just doesn't let us go out there and make a mistake, without learning from it. So he's a great guy to be around, better human being. And, he's always smiling, always laughing, having a good time. And, as a young guy seeing that, that's what you want.
You talked about a year ago when the plays would come in. You weren't sure if you could say that. Tomorrow, what are you most, for lack of a better word, excited, anxious, looking forward to?
Yeah, I think, big part of our offense is, getting the play call, going up there and making everything a smooth operation. And, everybody's emotions and energy is going to be high. We know there's going to be mistakes here and there, but, for the most part, how do we come out and make everything kind of look uniform, everybody together, going at one heartbeat, executing what we got, and then learning from mistakes as we go and keep pushing on.
When you were putting up big numbers in college, did you imagine that it was going to be this long before you would get a chance to show your stuff in the pros?
I know how the league goes. My brother was in the NFL probably 4 years when I was in college, so I always just take every opportunity to learn. My biggest thing is growth, mindset, and I'd rather go out there when I feel ready, mentally, than going out there, and rushing out there just because I want to be out there. So I love coming out here and learning and watching the guys and taking different stuff from different guys and learning how to be a pro's pro.
Because part of your game is your legs so much, how do you balance that of not going, I can make that on the leg?
Yeah, just really sticking with your feet and your reads. Coach O'Connell does a great job of teaching feet, so letting our feet take us through our progression. So, when you really dial in that, in ND and team and 7-on, it's easier for you to play in rhythm, so you're not using your feet prematurely or just, things kind of look muddy and you're sloppy and you can't make a throw, so you just use your legs as a default. So that's another part of my game that I think got stronger. My feet going through my progression. So.
What do you think it'll be like out there tomorrow? Two more. With actual fans in the stands?
Oh man, I know it's going to be a live atmosphere, especially fans not being able to come last year. We did a little bit of stuff in the OTAs where fans were able to come out, but first actual against a different team competition, I know it's going to be filled. Both of us being from Los Angeles, it's going to be exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
What was your reaction when the Rams added Duck Hodges to the competition for roster spots?
Yeah, I love it. I love coming out here competing, learning, different stuff from different guys. The biggest thing is it's a competition, but that synergy and that relationship in the QB room is important. So Doug's been great. I love having him in the QB room. I think all four of us, it's a very comfortable QB room. I'm excited for both of us to go out there and kind of do what we do. We've been talking about it, just on the sideline. As John and Matthew get most of the rest, we were like, our time to shine is August 14th. So we're both prepared and ready to go out there.
Thank you, man.
So
Thank you.
Maria. Guys, go ahead.
Bryce was talking about his legs. What do you like with his legs and arm balance?
I think it just keeps defenses honest. So much of what you see is predicated on defenses usually playing 11 on 10 where they're not necessarily having to account for the quarterback as a runner. You can certainly do those things with him, and then when things break down off schedule, if somebody gets beat, that athleticism, he can kind of find a way of when it's wrong, making it right. And so that's what he did at his career in Virginia. He's done that at practices for us over the last year, and now you guys will get a chance to see it too.
How do you coach that hey, the play is the throw, but guys like that have this natural running instinct not to run?
Yeah, I think it's a fine line. When things do break down, there's always a timing and a rhythm in the pass game that we're trying to get these guys to intrinsically feel and to be able to work through progressions. We talk about exhausting progressions, but sometimes it doesn't always work how you draw it up, and somebody might get beat up front, and that's where you feel like, hey, let your instincts take over and be able to keep the play alive. And so I think he's done a really good job. Kevin and Zach have done an outstanding job of really communicating with him, and I think he's shown really good progression as a quarterback. All right. It means we're spending too much time together. That's only one question. We should just start limiting these.
What do you hope to see tomorrow in the first preseason game? Overall, what do you sort of hope for?
Yeah, I think you want to see guys enjoy themselves and play well. Put good tape out there for themselves. There's a lot of guys, like we mentioned, that won't be playing, but this is important to a lot of guys. And it's important for us to continue to get evaluations, especially for those younger players. But you want to see good, sharp operation. And I think what you want to make sure is guys compete to their best of their ability, but also go play with a quieted mind. Guys are usually at their best when we're going to go compete. We're going to have an urgent enjoyment. You hear me talk about that. And I want to see guys do that. And then the guys that aren't playing, want to see them do a nice job of pouring into their teammates, being able to offer advice and perspective that they're seeing, because I think some of the things that their own teammates see it's really powerful coming from the Aaron Donalds of the world or the Matthew Staffords. Those are things that we're looking for. The Jalen Ramseys. That's what I want to see tomorrow.
This year, how did you arrive at the number of guys who are going to play in a game and aren't going to play in a preseason game? Did you sort of work from the bottom of the depth chart up, figure out the minimum number of guys you needed to compete?
Yeah, it's been an interesting kind of, how it's unfolded has been interesting. But really what you look at is, in a lot of senses, guys that have played a lot of football, we're going to err on the side of caution. Now, can you take that approach throughout the whole preseason when you go from 85 to 80? We're probably going to have to get creative and see what that looks like. But you also want to be mindful of, all right, how do these guys play well, knowing that you still have to fill out the special teams. But ultimately what it boiled down to, Greg, is that a lot of the guys that we're resting are guys that have played a significant amount of meaningful snaps in this league. So we're getting a good evaluation of a lot of our younger players, and that's kind of how we got to where we're at. And then there are some guys, there's a handful of those players that I mentioned yesterday in terms of when I throw out that 35 number, a lot of those guys would be playing, but they're actually injured, and we're forced to hold them out as precautionary reasons.
You obviously know Brandon Staley very well.
Yeah.
What is that like to know somebody that well on the other side? It's much like Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, it's interesting. Being a preseason game, it's a little bit different, Maria.
Yeah.
If it was a regular season game, there's always a fun chess match, but the players make all this stuff come to life. Brandon's a great coach, did a phenomenal job for us. Very grateful for all the contributions, and excited to see these guys compete tomorrow.
Did you think when you hired him he'd be here longer than just a year?
I wasn't surprised about what happened. You could see he did a great job. Being able to lead the defense in addition to our other defensive coaches who have done such a great job. The players played really well, and I wasn't surprised, and I knew that if he got a chance to compete for a job, based on his organizational structure, his thought process. You know, he's a really deep thinker, and you know, you could see he had been preparing himself for those opportunities for a while, and you know, he'll do a good job with those guys.
We'll wrap with you, Kevin.
Why does a guy like Bryce Perkins, who put up big numbers in college, why does he get passed over in the draft? And then what did you guys see in him?
Yeah, that's a good question, Kevin. You know, I can't speak for anybody else. I know that we really like the player. Les Snead was a big fan of him, watching him when his son Logan was at Virginia, and being really familiar with watching Bryce lead the way. And you talk about really raising the level of play of everybody around you. You know, being able to lead those guys to a conference championship game. I can remember watching that opening drive as he takes them right down the field. And you know, Clemson is a pretty impressive team, and they ended up, you know, getting the better of them. But Bryce is an elite competitor. I can't speak for that. I'm just glad Bryce is with us. Okay, thanks guys.
Thanks.